Hi guys, welcome to FM Driving School. You're with me, FM here. So as you're aware, the driving test is about to start up now, 22nd of July in England. So we're just going to give you the updates or the email that we were sent as a driving instructor regarding what's going to happen in your driving test. So let's go through it. If you got a test coming up or just wondering what the test is going to be like in this new, weird era that we're in regarding the COVID-19. So we got an email sent from the Driving Vehicle Standards Agency, the official government body. And so they've given us 5 tips that we should know regarding your driving test. So if you got a test coming up and your instructor hasn't really made you aware, these are the things that you need to know. Okay, first of all, keep your vehicles clean. So this goes to your driving instructor or even yourself if you're taking your own car. Make sure the insides of the vehicle is cleaned. So us instructors, we're going to wipe the dashboards and the handles and the wheels and the gears and the handbrake, etc. We're going to do that anyway, regardless, but it's just telling you to make sure it's cleaned anyway. Arrive at the right time. So this is quite an important part here. Obviously, you never turn up late anyway, but do not arrive more than 5 minutes before your appointed time. So do not arrive for the driving test more than 5 minutes. Obviously, try get there on time, but don't be too early because they wouldn't like that. The driving test center waiting room will be closed to help prevent the spread of the coronavirus, but the toilets will be available on request. So this is an important information here because before in the past, if you had a test, say it's at 10:14, you go to the test center, you wait in the waiting room, and the examiners will come out on the dot at 10:14. So here they're saying do not come into the test center and it will be closed anyway. So I'm assuming, because we haven't been told fully here in the email, is that you go to the car park, wait there, and they'll probably come out. And if they haven't come out, what I would do as an instructor, because I'll be with my student, I'll be knocking on the door to let them know that we're here, because it doesn't really state what's going to happen if they're coming out or not. But if the test center is closed, then the most obvious situation is that they're going to have to come out. So for now, I'll say get there 5 minutes early, wait there, wait for the examiner to come out, and if it's been a couple of minutes and he still hasn't come out, then knock on the door definitely. Okay, next part is make sure your pupils wears a face covering. Your people must wear a face covering unless they have a good reason not to. Your people must wear a face covering when they come to the test center unless they have a good reason not to. Okay, this includes, here we go, they have a physical or mental illness, or impairment or disability that means they cannot put it on, wear it, or remove a face covering. Fair enough. Putting on, wearing, or removing a face covering would cause them severe distress. Here's your second reason. They need to remove it during your test to avoid harm or injury or the risk of harm or injury to themselves or others. Okay. Your people must have told us, here we go, if they have a good reason not to wear face covering when they choose a test. So tell them beforehand. That's quite important. So it's important that your people practices driving wearing a face covering, which is true because obviously it can be slightly suffocating when you're driving with a face mask. So practice it with your driving instructor. If your people has a problem with the face covering during the test, the driving examiner will ask them to stop so they can adjust it. Okay, that's nice of them. The driving examiner will end the test early if it becomes a safety issue. So this is really important information and I've just come across it as well. So I'm going to have to pass this on to my students. So what can there be a possible reason for there to be a safety problem? So why? It could be that, imagine you're wearing those plastic or those paper ones, face masks. They're quite flimsy, aren't they? So if they were to break off and you didn't have a spare one, that could be a really good reason for the examiner to now end the test. So again, make sure you carry a few extra ones just in case. You don't want the test to be ended because your face mask broke off. Okay, number 4, check if your people should be self-isolating. Your people must not come for a test if they're self-isolating. Okay, so if your people must not come to the driving test if they or someone they live with has coronavirus symptoms. They've been told by the NHS Test and Trace Service that they've been in contact with a person who has coronavirus. They have returned to the UK in the last 14 days unless they travel from certain countries or territories or are in other very limited situations. So, that's quite clear cut. If you've got symptoms or you've been in contact with someone who's got symptoms or you've been abroad and you should be really self-isolating when you got back, then therefore you should not be doing the test. And finally, for you students, what happens on the test day if you make certain faults? So that's quite important for us to know. Check that your people knows the test will end early if they make certain faults. So let's see what else they say about this. Okay, make sure your people knows that they can carry on if they make certain faults during the test. Fair enough. If they make a serious or dangerous fault, here we go, which means that they fail the test, the driving examiner will direct them back to the driving test center where the test will end. This is to minimize the amount of time they need to spend in the vehicle. So, if you made a major fault, the exam will end immediately and you'll be taken back to the test center. I'll give you an example. It could be, for example, maybe you didn't look right on a random, but it might be a little small mistake and you got a major fault. The examiner's going to pull you over and tell you, okay, we made the major fault, let's go back. In a way, it could be a good thing or a bad thing, because some students, when they fail, they don't want to carry on, they just want to go back. They've kind of realized they failed and they've given up. The negative could be it's better even if you were to fail, to experience the test itself, see what it's like. But if you know fully that you failed, some students, like for example, if the examiner intervenes by pressing the brakes, you know that you failed. So some students, they've mentally given up and just want to finish it there and then. So in a way, it could be a blessing at the same time. But as I said, the disadvantage is you don't get to experience the whole test. As a teacher, we think you've paid for the test, just experience it even if you fail, because it can only benefit you for your next test. Okay, so let's quickly run through that again. Number one is make sure your car is clean. So if you're taking your own car, keep it nice and tidy. You don't want the examiner to be straight away annoyed by your car. Your instructor should have a fairly clean car because they kind of live in it, so they don't want a messy car. 2, arrive at the test center not more than 5 minutes early. The driver's test center waiting room will be closed. So again, I'm not certain here, but I'm assuming the examiners are going to come out. 3, make sure you wear a face mask. If anything happens to your face mask, say it breaks halfway through the test, make sure you have a spare one. That's really important, guys, so make sure you have a spare one. 4, if you need to be self-isolating, make sure you're doing it. And 5, if you were to fail your test, you made a major fault, the exam's going to stop and you'll be taken back to the driving test center. Hope that was quite useful there. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Check out our other videos on driving, how to pass a driving test, what makes you a good driver, how you can fail your driving test, etc. From us, your fully qualified driving instructor FM. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye bye.